part one of the Akagi build I am doing. I'm going to do different stages like that, like most of my videos I've done. So we're going to start off with part one. Now this part is going to result in research and knowledge of the ship. So from my own knowledge, I'm going to explain the life of the famous ship Akagi. It was made in Kure, is it? In Japan, where the military base is. Built in 1926 and didn't have a sister ship because the original, well, her sister ship was destroyed in the earthquake in 1923. So she was launched in 1926. That's better. Launched in 1926. It was the flagship of the aircraft carriers basically, and the Akagi was the most famous out of a lot of them. So it was famous for Pearl Harbor, attack of Pearl Harbor, and of course, very sadly, being sunk at Midway. From what I have say, it could also, like references and that, it carried so much fuel for itself, let alone its aircraft. And apparently the Akagi, I can't remember how much fuel, but it had 6 digits. It didn't have a very good range because it would just, like a BMW, it would just drink its fuel. And it just drank and drank, and apparently on one tour of, like when I was training, it ran out of fuel, and I think it was Kaga had to tow it back. So that's one thing about the ship, it used so much fuel, and that. What else was I going to say? Apparently on one occasion, when I can't remember if this is true or not, but I read it on a Wikipedia page, that when he was doing sea trials, when he had to do a sharp bend, it listed so badly that all the crew started to panic and rushed to the other side of the ship to keep it counterbalanced. And so you can just see how powerful the Akagi actually was. I know that Akagi is a famous, it's not the famous mount in Japan, Mount Fuji, but Akagi is a famous mountain in Japan where he's like Fuji, you can climb up on it. I want to point out that Kaga is not its sister ship. They're completely different in each other. You can tell just by look at them how the decks are, and the carrier deck and the control towers are. So we've done the research. Now Akagi, I just want to point out, Akagi was not sunk. Well, it was, but it was scuttled in one way. It was bombed and basically became a floating wreck during the course of Midway, and very sadly the Admiral decided to scuttle it. So, and even to this day they still haven't found the wreck of Akagi, which I'm a little bit disappointed at, because Akagi is my favourite aircraft carrier. But apparently they've just recently found, as well as Musashi, the wreck for Kaga. Apparently I just had a quick look at it. There's only one photo I've found of it. So it was really interesting that they found the Kaga, which was sunk a day before Akagi. So what research have I done? Well, I've got some photographs that I printed off from websites and different stuff like that. Now this along here is behind the control tower where the anti-aircraft guns were. Now this is a really good picture, as it's given you an insight to how the guns were, and the rails and all this and the other. And it also shows you the back of the control tower. and where the flags was positioned as well, so that's a good photo. Nothing else on the back there. This picture again, we're looking back, same side of the ship where that photograph was taken. Showing the display of the anti-aircraft guns, also the KTs at the back here. What else have we got? We've got the back, where two lifeboats were displayed and stuff like that. So that's good. That's really helpful because at the back it's very confusing because you've got the lifeboats as well as some cranes at the back. So, oh my eye. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. It's hurting. So anyway, that's that done. You got the deck and the front of the aircraft here. Stuff still on the front there. Yeah. What else we got? Oh yes, I found a 3D model of it. Someone had done on Convenient Art, which I'm on. So that's really helpful. Somewhere I've got some deck plans and how it all looks and stuff like that. So that's another bonus, really. So sorry, my eye is hurt. My eye hurts. Right. So that's basically the research. There's a lot of research done now. I've already made a start on the Akagi, but not much. This is all I've done. Now you can't see what I've done in this position, so let me zoom you in a bit like that. Sorry. Let's pull this over. Now you can see what I've actually done. This is the railing part, and now I've actually started to put basically scratch build railings. Now this is going to be such a task for me. I've got to scratch build railings. I basically cannot, like, the trophy packs are as much as the actual kit itself, but pay for it. And yeah, I don't really want to pay for the trophy pack, which is going to be the same amount as the ship itself. So what my plan is to get like some stretch sprue and stuff like that, which I've got in front down there. And the string that I use is really thin enough to use as rails, so just stretch that and it should be alright. Yeah, so I'm going to do that across the ship, and this is really all I've done so far. As for paints wise, I've got it down here. For the deck colour, like the really light decks, you've got XF78. These are all Tamiya paints, right? Is it Tamiya paint? So you've got XF78, XF77 for the hull, and XF9 for the bottom half of the hull. Now it does recommend that you use TS33 and TS66 for these, but I don't really want to use them, so I've done some my research and had a look at that. That's really it. That's all I've done. I'm going to be working on this all the way around the front for the time being, so that's going to be a really long task. And then I can, while in the meantime, like when I get bored and stuff like that, I can start work on the hull and everything else. So I'm going to start for that, guys. Thank you for watching. Follow on with this group build, well, not group build, just build. And thank you very much for watching. So, yes, thank you very much and goodbye.